And welcome back to the Michael Cohen Show on our continued journey to 500,000 subscribers. So let's get there. Hit subscribe, watch, comment, and share, because this insanity, it's not stopping. Now look, my friends, it's no King's Day. And I hope that each and every one of you are able to get out there onto the streets, making your voices heard. I'm heading out to protest and to advocate for the protection of our American constitutional rights. MAGA Republicans, they want to do anything, everything that they can to stop these protests. Now, we've talked before about the Midas Touch Network's exclusive reporting that the Trump administration is planning to use the military, our military, to intimidate protesters, for example, in California. I mean, many folks online calling it rage bait, but new corporate media outlets are confirming our reporting, proving that in this administration, no story is too outrageous to be true. California Governor Gavin Newsome, he addressed Trump's plan and the potential shutdown of I-5. That's the major thoroughfare. And I want to show you, let me show this to you. Play the clip.
Your reaction to the Camp Pendleton events planned for this?
Well, we'll see what actually takes place. We were under the understanding they were going to close I-5, up to 80,000 vehicles on Friday, tomorrow, and Saturday. And then they seem to have backed off on that. They were going to move forward with a display, doing something, but they're not clearly sharing that with state officials. It was foundational and fundamental that we needed to be part of that if we were going to shut down the freeway and make sure it was done in an appropriate manner. But it appears, as I said, they've backed off. So to be determined what they are proposing to do. We're proud of this country, proud of our military, proud of the 250th anniversary. Anything we can do to celebrate our vets, to celebrate our heroes, I'm all for. Let's just do it in coordination and collaboration with state and local leaders. That continues to be a struggle with this administration that is more interested in doing things to people than doing things with people in relationship to these kind of activities.
I mean, let me be clear. Logical, cogent, makes sense, right? Now, my co-host Ben Meiselas and I, we spoke about Trump's absurd plan that coincides with today's protests on political beatdown. Take a listen. Play the clip.
You know, we broke the story on the Midas Touch Network that Trump was going to be having these Navy warships use live munitions and potentially be shooting them into Camp Pendleton, which could shut down the I-5. That would be Saturday, the same time the No Kings protest was going on. And there really wasn't much like of a denial per se. I mean, they're doing live munitions. I guess the Trump response is, this is how they said it. They said, this is regular. This is something that normally happens. It's going to be done within the contained zones. And this is just a regularly scheduled event that the Navy and the Marines normally engage in. Now, the wild thing, when they put out a statement like that, and they lie about everything, right, is that yet again, you know, what's that website, Snopes or whatever it is, you know, and these fact checkers are like, well, what did Trump say? What did the Marines say? And then, because then they go, well, Gavin Newsome amplified what Midas Touch reported. He's the governor of California, and he did not know the full extent of the events taking place in California. And yes, it would concern a governor that live munitions from the Navy would be shot in the territory where the governor governs. And let me ask this, if this was some regularly scheduled event, why wasn't it announced in a
but when has it ever been scheduled? When has something like this ever taken place? When was the last time?
But here's the thing, Cohen. Even you know the fact checker, right, adopts the language of Trump and says, "Well, it's regular." I'm like, are you using critical thinking skills? When was it announced? Then, if you actually think that this was did this happen every year? Did you want to maybe look when the 250th anniversary of the Marines is? Because maybe if you did a modicum of freaking research, rather than just say Donald Trump said, you would find out that the Marine Corps anniversary is November 10th. You would also find out that this event taking place on the No Kings protest day was never announced before. They mentioned it last Friday briefly, but when they started talking about live munitions and what's happening, it started to be announced yesterday, and the Midas Touch Network reported on it first. And then you've got people, Cohen. And
well, by the way,
people,
speaking about firsts, I did turn around and tell you that the third person indicted was going to be John Bolton. I actually predicted all three in its order so far. And to those of you who are going to try to hate on Michael Cohen and say, no, you didn't. Yes, I did. You can go back and see my predictions, even here or on MSNBC. I told you he was just indicted. And you know what? There's many, many more to come.
Cohen, I saw that the red folder was handed. Did they officially just open it up during the?
Yeah.
Yep. So once we have more details there, we'll report on that probably right after the first break. But it does bring me to the point I want to make, though, because there was an overwhelming amount of people, especially on Threads. I don't know why, particularly on Threads of all places, but Blue Sky, who responded to our accurate reporting, Cohen, and they would say, "Oh my gosh, Midas Touch is doing rage bait." When we talked about this is rage bait and it's inappropriate. And I say to that, I wish it was rage bait. Trust me, I wish it wasn't real. I wish this was rage bait. But guess what? When Michael Cohen and I warned you that Trump was sending the military into blue states and blue cities, you know what you said? Rage bait, that's not going to happen. When we said Project 2025 was real and it was going to dismantle the government, oh, that's rage bait. Why are you doing this, Midas? When we said he was going to overturn Roe v. Wade with that right-wing Supreme Court, what did we hear from rage bait? He's not going to do it. Roe v. Wade is precedent. That's never going to happen. I don't get at what level, when there's a freaking gun to your head, do you go, oh, probably not. You'll probably still be yelling rage bait until the freaking trigger is pulled, like for real. I mean, we are living in, like, I don't know what world and experience these other people.
Dystopia. It's dystopia. This is Gilead. I mean, if anybody hasn't watched that Netflix show, I think it's on Netflix, right? The Handmaid's Tale. Well, you should, because it's what we're doing. Eventually, you're going to see the commanders. It's going to be like Commander Stephen Miller, right? And then you're going to see like Commander Pete Hegseth, and it's going to be nuts because they don't believe in rule of law. They don't believe in process. Okay, I'm sorry, Hulu. They don't believe. I don't want to take that away from Hulu, right? Isn't that an ABC Disney ownership? Mm-hmm, so I'll take it away from Hulu. But they don't want to see our rights continue. I mean, it's literally Project 2025. I know that Ben and I, after the two of us read that 922-page manifesto, a manifesto on how to destroy America's Democratic Republic, we turned around and we said, please do not, under any circumstances before the election, do not ignore this concept of Project 2025. This is the entire basis of what the next 4+ years is going to be all about. And lo and behold, right? Lo and behold, like fucking Harry Potter poofing out something with his wand. That's exactly what's happening right now. And when you have the President of the United States calling out Russell Vought and thanking him for his service, when you have him turning around and making jokes about Stephen Miller at a press conference in the Oval, you really got to turn around and you say, we're in some serious, serious trouble. And that's why we all need to stick together. We need to unite as one big giant group and then just say, you know what? Enough is enough.
During the campaign, when we would report, hey, he's saying mass deportations for everyone, he's going to take away your temporary protected status. What'd you hear? Not me. He's just going after the criminals. Stop your rage bait, Midas Touch. And here we are, though, Cohen, and this is a serious issue. It was an interesting experience, breaking that story, and it just always fascinates me because we break the story, then corporate news picks it up after. None of them give credit to Midas Touch. It's fine. I don't care about the credit, but like zero say where the story originated from, who broke it first. They then start citing each other. So you see that broken environment. Now, look, it wasn't even the Trump people who were really denying our story. It was actually people who you would think would be sympathetic ideologically to the story in many ways. It's actually people who you would think would be on your team, who would go out there and shoot their mouth and say, oh, this is rage bait taking place, just Midas Touch. And I'm just thinking, the military is in Chicago, okay? The Texas National Guard was sent to invade a blue city. Trump, which, by the way, was blocked by the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals earlier today with a Trump judge, a George H.W. Bush judge, and an Obama judge in a per curiam decision. They blocked what Donald Trump did there with the National Guards. He sent the troops to Portland, Oregon, where it was blocked there by a Trump-appointed judge. He sent the troops to California. So why, when I'm reporting, that he's shooting missiles into Camp Pendleton, are you like, whoa, he would never do that? What do you mean he would never? Donald Trump, the guy's out there blowing up Venezuelan fishing boats and Colombian fishing boats and posting death videos of people. Like, what country, for real, what country do these people live in?
When was the last time that we here in the United States shot off a rocket, a missile, onto our own territory? Regardless of whether it's for a 250th anniversary, 100th anniversary, when was the last time any single one of you remember that we actually fired onto our own property? Hey, everyone. First of all, thanks for watching. We're going to be posting daily episodes with reactions and talking about politics. We'll be talking about everything, in fact. So please like and subscribe. Join us on this journey.